Oh, what a depressing day, guys. I'm telling you, it's like, oh, bad, very, very bad day. Like, an extremely bad day, guys. I cannot tell you. I was really bummed. My weekend was not the best weekend. It all started like yesterday. Um, so here's what happened. Okay, so here's my Sony A7R II, right? Beautiful camera, my favorite camera in the world. This is my Sony A7R II. And I don't know if you guys tuned in for a recent live stream of mine, but I scratched up my LCD screen pretty bad, so I wanted to replace it. And after doing all this reading on forums and like watching videos on how to take apart the A7R II, and I wanted to replace the screen myself because it looked really easy. So I got the screen, I got the part to replace, and it didn't go too well. I busted up like a bunch of ribbon cables on the back, and I ripped up like these ribbon cables, and I mean the camera still works, but I just don't have a screen on it. So I looked up how much it would cost for a technician to repair it. It would be like around 600 bucks. And then I kind of did some math. After all the depreciation, since I bought the camera for 2,900 bucks, something like that. It's already down to 2,200. Selling it used, I would probably get 1,600 out of it. Um, but broken, I would probably sell it for around 1,000. So I put it up for sale on eBay for 997. Within 10 minutes, I sold it, and which is good. I'm happy I sold it. I'm gonna ship it out tomorrow, and I have the spare parts right here to fix it. I just don't have the ribbon cables or what is called the PCB board. So I don't know if you guys are like technologically like if you guys understand technology, but I've always been like a technology geek, and my hair is a little weird, but so anyway, here's how these cameras work, especially like the Sony Alpha series cameras. We have the LCD screen, right? So here's the my original LCD screen. I don't know if you could see it, but it's scratched up. So here it is. I removed it flawlessly. You know, this screen is still good. Like if a professional installs this on another camera, it'll work. And this chip goes on the back. You see, like they glue it on the back of the screen here. And what happens is this chip powers up the LCD screen. So there's two ribbon cables. There's a ribbon cable that goes to the chip right here from the back, from the internals of the camera. And then there's another ribbon cable coming from the LCD going into the PCB board. I ruined the pins on the chip. So the pins are like bent. And I snapped the internal ribbon cable. So in order to replace that internal ribbon cable, you have to take the camera apart. Like you have to really take it apart. The LCD screen was kind of easy to take apart, but like I don't want to do any more damage to the camera than what I've already done. I've already done enough damage. I busted up the LCD screen, and now whoever bought this camera is gonna have to take it apart and replace some ribbon cables inside. So I don't want to pay another 500 bucks to send it over to Sony. They probably won't even repair it since it's out of warranty. I don't know what their deal is, but I know for a fact that I'll definitely be out 500 bucks at least to get it repaired. So I decided to just sell it for 997 on eBay. I sold it within 10 minutes, and then I forked over just over $4,000 to buy a Sony A9. And I'm a little nuts. I'm a little bit crazy. But here's the thing. I really wanted to buy the Sony A7S Mark III. It's like gonna come out any month now. And now that I bought the Sony A9, I don't think that I'm going to be buying the Sony A7S Mark III, which is really upsetting. But here's the thing, the Sony A9 is a phenomenal camera. It has the best autofocus technology in the world. Nothing can come close to its speed and autofocus on the Sony A9. It has a revolutionary new internals, new chips, new CMOS sensor with RAM built in, which means that it can take bursts, take a massive amount of image bursts and write to the card immediately without blacking out the viewfinder or without any lag or like low buffer speeds, you know what I'm saying? So it's going to write data to the card extremely fast. So, and it does 6K video downsampled to 4K video. So basically, it takes a 4K image from a 6K video. It takes 4K video from a 6K video, and the results are phenomenal. If you go like on Vimeo especially, you can really see some great images from the Sony A9. So I got really upset because the Sony A7RII was my favorite camera. I had it for almost 2 years. Not even 2 years, guys. I busted up the LCD, and I'm like really upset. And on top of that, I had to go to a funeral today from a family friend. And so it was just like piling on. Just kind of a shitty weekend. Excuse my French, but yes, it was. So that's what I've been dealing with. $4,000 is not cheap for a camera, so guess what I did? I financed it, and I got a really good deal financing it for 24 months. So if you ever run into this problem, definitely finance. PayPal does unbelievable things. I was able to get 24 months, no interest APR for the A9, and I got a pretty good deal, you know, with my monthly payments. So I'm doing that. I don't think I should have. You don't want to pay up front $4,000 for a camera. That's a little too steep. Especially if you have like schedule that goes up and down, up and down, up and down. Right now, my schedule doesn't have its stability just yet. I'm still like, oh, a bunch of business, and then dead for like a week or 2 weeks. Bunch of business, and then dead for a couple weeks. Like, so I'm still trying to get my foundation in there as a filmmaker, because right now I'm only working with celebrities. I don't want to work with anybody, you know. I don't want to work with people with lower than 1 million followers. Like everybody who I work with right now have that amount of following. So that's just a goal I set for myself. But because I set that goal, I won't have stability in my business. So it's not that I don't have money. It's just that sometimes I don't work, and when I don't work, I don't feel productive and stuff like that. So I'd rather be working constantly. So I'm probably gonna end up doing some DP stuff for a company. Looking around, just so you know, I get that stability, you know, part-time stuff. Because I just don't. I love working. I really love working. It's not all about the money for me. I just love doing work. So it's tough. It's tough to find stability. Israel Mona and Halvin Wolf, what's up, guys? Good morning, boss. Please, I have a huge question. Been trying to figure this out, and I thought of letting you know first. All right, man. What's your question? Three-axis brushless handheld stabilizer gimbal. Jewin Crane M. Three-axis handheld gimbal video stabilizer. Which would you advise I get? The first option looks exactly like the Ronin. Send me a link, man. Send me a link. I don't think you should get the Jewin Crane M. I think you should get the full-size Jewin Crane. Because you're going to want to put a bigger camera on there. And the Crane M can only do little small cameras. So consider that. You get the full-size Crane. Especially since they dropped the price. It's down to $549 right now. That's really cheap for a gimbal. So consider that. Yeah, guys, so I'm upset. Not a good weekend. Farewell, my Sony A7RII. I hope your new owner will take good care of you. This baby shot so much footage for me and did such a great job. But you also did fail me a lot. you did fail me in overheating, and you failed me in 4K a lot. I was shooting in 4K on this camera was such a pain. So the new Sony A9 is supposed to handle heat a lot better. You can actually set the temperature warning settings on the new A9. So I'm happy about that. That's a good feature. But man, I just really will miss my A7R II. Really will miss that. Israel said, I'm not allowed to drop links here. Then email them to me. Email them to me. Is it from eBay or like what's the brand name of the first stabilizer? Please, can I have your email? Sure, you can. info@capturethemomentum.com. Let me post the link to the live stream right now, guys, so people can join in. But yeah, guys, it's really crappy to break a camera, especially like I've built a bond. I know it's gonna sound weird, but I built a bond with my equipment. Like I cherish my equipment. Not that I love them more than people, but I have like my own like relationship with my equipment. Even the cases that I protect my equipment with, like I've earned it. I got them. Like anything that you pay for out of your own pocket, it's completely different than getting something for free. But I've also gotten a lot of stuff for free, but I've worked for it. You know what I'm saying? So if you've worked for something and you cherish it. So that's what I do. I cherish my equipment. This camera made me a ton of money, the A7R II. So it definitely fulfilled its prophecy. It made me money. I never lost money on this camera. And overall, this LCD replacement that I wanted to do cost me $3,000 because now I have to buy a new. Now I bought a new camera. I already paid for it, so it cost me $3,000. Even though it's like a $4,000 camera, I took $1,000 off because I sold this for $1,000, $997. So $3,000. I should make that back pretty quickly though, so I'm not worried. But the Sony A9, it's something that I've never owned. I've never owned a camera like that before. It's supposed to compete with the Canon 1DX Mark II, Nikon D5. Those are all the proest of the pro cameras. Like those are the best right now. Best DSLRs on the market. So this competes with them. So I hope the price tag matches the functions of the camera and the quality. So yeah, that's what I'm dealing with, guys. Like a funeral today and breaking my camera. Ooh. Just upset, guys, Just one of those bad feelings. But it's okay. Israel says, yes, it's on eBay. Okay, so what's the brand of the stabilizer? Tell me, what is the brand? It should have some brand. If it doesn't have a brand, then I wouldn't buy it. There's all these unbranded, like cheaper gimbals and stabilizers that you can buy, but I would never, ever recommend that you do that. Because one, they probably don't have a warranty. Two, they don't have a legitimate factory. Three, they don't have customer service. I doubt they'll have customer service. You better go with the bigger companies like Juentech, DJI. They all have like big factories. They have hundreds, if not thousands, of people working for them. So you're gonna get a better service from those guys. So I wouldn't recommend doing that, and I definitely wouldn't recommend buying gimbals used. I don't. Gimbals are fragile, and I honestly would never buy a camera used either, unless I see it in person and like play with it for like an hour before buying it. So I made a really big mistake in 2012. I bought my first TV camera. It was a pro TV camera. It was a Canon XF305. Very expensive camera. It was an $8,000 camera. I bought it used for I think 4,800, and it had so many problems with it. I was so inexperienced with buying stuff used. So I was like, I didn't even really inspect it. I just made sure it turned on, and I was like, okay, here's your cash. I'm out of here. And guess what? I wanted to take that camera apart. I took it apart and I shorted it out, and I needed to send it to Canon to fix. Canon actually has really nice customer service. They fixed it for free even though I'm the one that broke it. Basically, kind of the same situation with the Sony. I wanted to take out the display and see why it was like all scratched up, and I shorted out the camera. Because me being stupid, I left the battery in and I left the camera on, and I shorted out the camera. I don't know why I didn't like think about that. Stupid. Oh man. So that was like really bad. That Canon XF305 cost me a lot of money. I lost thousands on that camera. Really like it gave me great picture quality, but it was just not for me. No low light capabilities. It was too big, too bulky. And the 5D actually was shooting better than that camera, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's my story. Weatherby Photo, why the A9 over the A7R2? So, here's the thing. So Israel, before I answer your question, let me answer this question really quick. So, I already have the A7R2 and it broke, right? And I didn't want to pay another couple grand for the same exact camera. I wanted something new. But that's not the only reason why I bought the A9. I bought the A9 because of its battery life. That's one. Two, because of its unbelievable autofocus system. In video, especially in the videos that I shoot sometimes action stuff, and I can't rely on myself all the time for manual focus. I need a camera to do focus for me. I need there to be extremely reliable focus. And currently, this camera has the best autofocus system on the market. Three, I want to get into photography, and I want to be able to shoot photos like no tomorrow. This camera has the fastest shutter count out of any other camera right now. It has 20 frames per second shutter count, which means that it can take 20 pictures a second. Silent shutter, which means that you're not going to hear that clicking. You're going to take 20 photos a second, silent shutter, no distortion. Okay, that's the other reason. Another reason number five or four, I don't remember. 5 or 4, it has dual SD card slots. So that's something that none of my cameras have right now. So I'm going to be able to record a backup. In case one card fails on me, I have the backup on a second card. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. So I've always wanted that to be inside of a small camera like the A7R2. Now, my original plan was to sell the A7S in December to buy the A7S Mark III, but clearly now that's not going to happen because I just had to pay over 4 Gs for the new A9. So I'm probably not going to get the A7S Mark III anymore. Which is fine, which is fine. Because I think the A9 will outperform it as a hybrid camera between photo and video. So I'm not worried about that. Another reason why the A9 is fantastic is, what else was I going to say? It has a lot better low light capabilities than the A7R2. So they changed the sensitivity on the on the A9. So it's supposed to be a lot better in low light. Not as good as the original A7S. I still have the original A7S. I still use it all the time. So, you know what? I think I'll be okay with the A9 over the A7R2. I just didn't want to pay. If I'm going to pay another couple grand for a camera, why would I pay for the same exact camera? I'd rather get something new, something upgraded. I mean, I might as well. I don't want to pay a couple grand for the same exact camera. That just bores me. So I decided to upgrade to the A9. And that is exactly what it is. The A9 is an upgraded version of the A7R2. So What do I think is going to happen with the new Sony lineup? Well, I think there's going to be an A9S and A9R. There probably will be, but the price tag is going to be ridiculous. The A9R, I'm just going off from Sony's history. They had the A7 and the A7S and the A7R. And the price tag is going to be, it's going to be probably the same kind of increments. So if the Sony A9 is $4,500, which is the sticker on it right now, that means the A7S and A7R are probably going to be closer to over $5,000. All right, and it's simply because of the autofocus system, the dual card slot, bigger battery, and that new CMOS RAM that they built in. So the ability for that camera to take pictures so fast and to write it to the card so fast is a very big deal. I bought it. I'm not a photographer. I'm not a great photographer anyway. But I still bought that camera because it's a great hybrid to have between video and photo. Because I do want to get better at photography, so I want to have a camera that can take fantastic photos. And that is why I went with the Sony A9 instead of buying the Sony A7R2 again. So I hope that answered your question. Phantasm, I would be so upset if I messed up my A7R2. I've yet to make money from photography, so I would be really in the hole if I broke my camera. Yeah, dude, like... Luckily, though, I caused $500 worth of damage on this camera. It still works. It still turns on. Viewfinder still works. All the buttons work. All the, I hooked up my external monitor. I still get a live feed. And anything, the only thing that needs to get replaced is the PCB chip for the LCD screen and the ribbon cable here. I don't know if you guys can see, but this ribbon cable is broken. I think I pressed too hard on it with my tweezers and I twisted it or something and it just ripped. I hate ribbon cables. I really just, I hate it so much. Damn. Weatherby photo, is that 20 frames a second of raw files? Yes, definitely. John Nagy, how's it going? Off topic. What's a good website to download music for vlogs and video? YouTube. All you gotta do is go in the search bar, type in no copyright vlog music, and you're gonna get the best vlog music on the web. What do you recommend for shooting the eclipse tomorrow using a drone? I don't recommend shooting the eclipse. I don't. I'm not gonna be shooting it. It's going to be very, very, very bad for the sensor and for the lens. So basically, a lens is a magnification, a magnifying glass. So if you're pointing up a magnifying glass at the sun, what's going to happen to the sensor? It's going to burn. I'm just too scared to film it. Maybe I'll take some pictures with my iPhone. iPhone takes pretty good pictures and videos, so I'll probably do that. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But I would not do that with the camera. JTube Films, why not the GH5 with the 4K 60 10-bit 422 cinema mode and much more amazing future-proof features? Sorry for what happened to your camera. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So I already have the GH4. I'm not getting the GH5 because it's not full frame. It's not sensitive to low light, and I have excellent Sony glass. I have great Sony Zeiss lenses. I don't have great Panasonic lenses, so I'm going to stick with Sony for those reasons. The 4K 60 is not a big deal for me, but they did upgrade the megabit rate for the 1080p at 120 frames per second on the Sony. It went from 50 to 100 megabits. So they doubled the data speed. So you're going to get more data in your pictures and all that other good stuff. The one huge downfall about the A9 is that there are no picture profiles, and that sucks. But Sony made a statement saying that if enough people complain about there not being any picture profiles in the A9, they will install it with a future firmware upgrade. So it's not like it's not capable of not having So it's not like the A9 is not capable of having picture profiles. It is. It's just not. It's not. It's just all software. It's all firmware. All right. Okay. All right. Weatherby photo. The best way to get good at photography is to shoot film. Hey man, vice versa. Seriously, some people have a better eye for photography. Some people have a better eye for videography. It's a two-way street. Chris Daly, what are the benefits of flashlight mode on the Crane again? I recall you demonstrating it one time, but I can't remember why you brought it up. So I recommend that you check out my stabilization video, how to get smooth shots on the Jewin Crane. I cover everything you need to know about flashlight mode. Brian, what's up, Brian? Hey, Josh, good to be in another live stream. How's everyone doing? Everyone's doing fine, man. So, did everyone hear about the crazy drama that's happening on YouTube lately? Does anyone follow those big vloggers like Jake Paul, Logan Paul, all them? I'm not meaning to start up anything, but it's actually interesting to see what's going on. So in 2016, I worked with Jake Paul for a few shoots. 2 weeks ago, I worked with Logan Paul, and I worked with the Phase crew. I worked with Banks, Adapt, all those people. And then a week after that, all this stuff started happening, all this drama. So I worked with all these people that are like apparently hating on each other right now. Isn't that crazy? It's weird. And it's crazy, crazy, crazy drama. When I worked with Jake Paul in 2016, he was very, very humble. He was very, very humble. So I worked with him, I think it was around March of 2016 is when I worked with him. March or maybe earlier than that. Everything was chill, man. He bought me lunch. Like, we hung out. We shot some stuff on his iPhone for like a funny YouTube or a Facebook video, I think it was. And then we didn't talk for a little bit. I guess he was busy. And then sooner or later, like Christmas time came around, and he randomly messages me, "Hey bro, I wish you a Merry Christmas." Which was really sweet. I did not expect him to just randomly text me like that. So the kid has heart. So the stuff that he's going through right now, I think it's just, he needs to get adjusted to all this fame. It's like, I think he's fame struck. So, and this happens to everybody. It's not just young kids. It can happen to a 50-year-old man. If he wakes up with $1 billion in his bank account, he's going to be like, oh, he's going to go into shock. So I think he just needs to get adjusted. He's a good kid. He has a heart. And it just sucks what's going on right now with him. And I met Banks too. I thought Banks was cool as well. Yeah, they're all good people, man. I don't get negative vibes from any of them. So I think it's just a little bump in the road. They just all gotta sit down, and the one problem I have right now with vlogging is that a lot of people don't have a buffer between personal life and business life. So what they do is that, like, especially like when someone is going through a breakup and then they make a vlog about it and put it online, like the whole Nicole Arbor thing when she was accused that she beat up her boyfriend and stuff like that. Like, nobody needs to see that crap online. If you have beef with somebody, you handle it outside of YouTube. You don't handle it inside of YouTube. Like, that's what I don't like. And I realize that a lot of them are doing it for fame. A lot of them are doing it for views, but that's not what you need to be doing. That's not what you need to be doing. You need to be handling this stuff outside of YouTube, not inside. Because if you're posting stuff about, oh yeah, my girlfriend assaulted me, my boyfriend assaulted me, this, that, I got arrested, and YouTube's age restrictions are not that restricted. Any kid can literally watch these videos and get an idea. And, these kids are young. They're still building up their character, their personality. And if they see this content out there, they're going to think that it's the right thing to do. So they're going to grow up and they're going to be either posting the same stuff or they are going to be acting on it. They're going to be doing assaults. They're going to be doing this. They're going to be doing that, getting arrested, getting involved with drugs. Like, we don't need to see that. We don't. YouTube was meant to provide a pure source of education, a pure source of entertainment. It was not created to spread out hate, spread out all this negativity. It's just disgusting, and it's hurting our youth. And it's a very bad thing that's happening online right now. So I hope that YouTube stops thinking about money as much, because I know they're loving this YouTube drama. YouTube, Google, they're loving it because they're getting all this money from advertisers. But if you really think about being a humanitarian and thinking about humanity and where it's going, and where our youth is going to be 10 years from now, if YouTube really thought about that, sat down with like their CEO or board of directors already, and like came up with some new way of monitoring what is going on YouTube, then our youth would not be, poisoned with all this negative imagery. It's not good. It is not good. YouTube was not meant to spread drama. YouTube was meant for education and entertainment. That's it. That's it. No drama. No drama. If you have beef with your girl, your boy, whatever, handle it outside of YouTube. Don't do it within YouTube. People don't need to see that crap. Come on. So, it makes me mad, because now I kind of have a following. I almost have 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. I know it's not putting a dent in it at all, but it's still something. And there was actually a few times in the media departments in the schools that I went to, people recognized me for my glide cam and drone videos. So people with 10 million followers, 10 million subscribers, they have a much larger impact. If you think about it, it's not good to be spreading all this crap. It's really not good. Do vlogs, that's fine. But keep your personal business out of it. Show your girlfriend if you want. Like, you guys are having a good time, why not? But don't show how, don't share stuff about abuse or claiming to be a person who wants to spread awareness. Trust me, there's enough of that online already. We don't need any more about this abusive awareness and awareness this, awareness that. People are aware. They know it's happening. They're not going on YouTube to learn about awareness, about how people are cheating on other people and how girlfriends or boyfriends are beating each other up. It's happening. People know about it, all right? YouTube is not the place to be posting this stuff. It's not the place. So stop it. Stop teaching our kids, our youth, our teenagers, all of this, because they're going to grow up and then they're going to become these abusers. I'm telling you right now, this is the time right now to make a change. So if you're going to become a big YouTuber, keep that crap out of your content, because it's very damaging to society. And I just had to get that out, all right? Brian says, I've never heard of those, but I never bothered to learn about it. Okay. Albert Weiss, as a DOP, do you recommend learning how to edit videos too? Oh, hell yeah. Definitely. Director of photography definitely needs to learn how to edit. Definitely. Word, dude, you need to be the president of YouTube. Thanks, man. Peter Gregg, saddened to hear about your camera. Happy to hear you went with the A9. Good choice. Thanks, man. Very expensive choice. Very expensive. But I'm going to plan on not buying a new camera for another 4 or 5 years. I keep upgrading my camera gear every 2 years, and that's really not good. That's a great way to, go bankrupt really quick. These cameras are meant to last you at least 5 years, guys. They're basically future-proof for 5 years. So they're 4K video, internal image stabilization. What more could you want? You shouldn't be upgrading your camera gear every 2 years like a crazy person like me, because that's what I've been doing, and it's not good. It's not good, 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 good. So my A9 will be around for years and years and years. It's definitely one of those future-proof cameras. And so is that original A7S. That camera still shoots phenomenally well, and it's future-proof. It's really like, if your camera can shoot crystal clear HD, full HD footage, I consider it future-proof. It really is. So focus more on lenses and upgrading lenses, because, or not upgrading, but buying new lenses, add to your collection, because each lens has its own look, creative style. Focus more on lenses and maybe accessories for your cameras. Instead of buying new camera bodies, focus on the accessories, because that can truly make a bigger difference, I think, in my opinion, than buying new cameras every year or 2 years. So, yeah. Let's see what else people are saying. Peter Gregg's awesome. I watched a few of his videos. He's awesome. Hi, Peter. J2 Films. For me, YouTube is a place for creativity, perspectives, and sharing your passion, not for some childish drama. I have stopped watching all these drama videos and do not support it. Completely agree, J2 Films. And guys, try to help out with the youth, because I know there's 10-year-olds, 12-year-olds out there watching these videos about abuse and all this drama stuff, that they don't need to be watching that. So if you see, like, if you have a little brother, little sister, or anyone in your family or friends that are young and they're watching this stuff, try to take them away from it, or just convince them that it could be very damaging to them. Try to give them another hobby, and try to steer them away from all this stuff, because YouTube is so easily accessible. It can be watched 24/7 on any single electronic device now. So, try to be those YouTube moderators, and help spread awareness of how damaging YouTube content is now, and try to steer them away from it and guide them to more of those creative channels, those channels that inspire, motivate, and promote well-being instead of negativity. Brian says, YouTube lately has been cancerous, especially with clickbait. Oh, don't get me started on that. I don't know for me, but it's like the start of a crappy generation of video creators. Yeah, I totally agree. And what's funny is that these video creators, they're not crappy at heart. They're phenomenally creative. But drama sells. It really does. I don't know if you guys remember this show called Jersey Shore on MTV. I think MTV was the first network that started this. MTV and E. These two channels, I think, were like the base of what is happening right now. It just built up and basically exploded, and now it's all over YouTube. And so it's bad, guys. It's really, really bad now, and it looks like it's getting worse. So if you can make a difference by helping and guiding your fellow youngians or teenagers or anybody who's younger than us, like, try and guide them and steer them away from this. Phantasm. I've been trying to invest in glass rather than bodies. Smart. Phantasm. Hard to get on sale, and they're about 30% more here in Canada. Wow. Have you tried to buy in the US market and have them ship it over to you? Try that. Brian, have you collaborated on big YouTube video creators like Devin Supertramp? If so, where can we see the videos? So I haven't collaborated with Devin Supertramp, but I met him at VidCon. I actually had his phone number, and like we connected really well. But he's not in LA. He doesn't like LA. It's not his scene. So it'll be really tough for me to collaborate with him. But I do have plans to, I shouldn't be saying this, but I will, to reach out with Atola Visuals. I haven't reached out to her yet, but I plan on reaching out to her. I'll be in San Francisco in about 2 weeks visiting my brother. So I'm going to probably, she's not that big, but she's well known on Instagram, and you'll recognize her if you see Atola Visuals on YouTube. Have I collaborated with any other big YouTubers? No, but I've collaborated. Oh, no, I have. Rob Riches, I've collaborated with him. I'm not like in the camera all the time, but I've also collaborated with Laura Clury. She's big on Facebook. I've acted in a few of her skits. Uh, Paige Hathaway, I've collaborated with her, but I don't know if she posted the videos. Um, yeah, and who else have I collaborated with? Olga K. She's not big anymore, like her following's dropping, unfortunately. But when I was working with her, I collaborated. I did a few YouTube challenges with her. She has almost 900,000 subscribers on YouTube. So that's pretty cool. And I have a new client that I promised I would share with you that I will be collaborating with. Um, I'm getting on the phone with her tomorrow morning again, and we're gonna meet up and shoot this coming week. So I'll update you more on that as soon as it happens. Weatherby Photo. Have you ever used Boris FX or DaVinci Resolve? Yes, I love both Boris FX and DaVinci Resolve. I downloaded the trial for Boris FX. Whew, love it. I used it for Sony Vegas, and that made my editing so much easier. They had they're one of their best plugins is the tracker. So you can basically track objects with their plugins, and then you can replace like images. You can put images on their heads. You can blur out their face, and it will follow them around. Like Boris FX has a great tracker. So, and then they also have great chroma keying plugins and special effects plugins. They have CGI plugins as well. So they have waterfalls, fire, lightning. Like that company really eliminates the need for After Effects, in my opinion. So that way you don't have to go back and forth between two different programs. You can just stay in one program and use those plugins to help you out with special effects. It's not 100% as good as After Effects. Like there's probably going to be some things that you need in After Effects if you want like the best special effects. But Boris FX, for all the stuff that I've needed, they came through. I don't use a lot of special effects in my videos anyway, so I don't really need After Effects. But I mean, that's what it is. Let's see if we have any more questions here. By the way, guys, make sure that you liked my Facebook page on, it's called Momentum Productions Filmmakers Academy. Make sure you like it. Let me send you the link. And make sure you like that page because sometimes I'll do Facebook Live videos. So make sure you like that. And here is my Instagram, Momentum_Productions. So follow me on Instagram as well. Follow my stories. I do a lot of behind the scenes stuff on Instagram. Phantasm. Exchange rate makes it painful, though our dollar is hopefully getting better. The A9 is $6,000 here. I really like the A6500 though. Tempting at only $1,500. $6,000 for the A9. Wow. Tell me, Phantasm, what's the minimum wage in Canada right now? I'm curious. In Los Angeles, I think it's $10. I think that's the minimum wage. It went up. But yeah, let me know what the minimum wage is. Our dollar is dropping significantly, so it's $6,000 for an A9. Wow. What if I told you you can get it for $4,200? But you got to order it from overseas, probably, from a company called eInfin. I purchased a lot of equipment from them. They're incredible. Chris Daly says, I love your lives. I'm just chilling in my room eating my midnight meal. Nice, man. Those are the best meals, too. J2 Films is asking, how did your passion for filmmaking start? It started with my mom's camcorder that I just like took from her. I didn't even ask for her permission to use it. I just took it out of like her drawer. It was a little Canon camcorder, And I just went around and I just shot random stuff like outside, and then I went home. I was just bored one day. I went home, I put the footage on my computer. I used this program called, I think it was Corel Video Studio, and it had this option called make an automatic music video. And what I did is I clicked on that button and it turned my, dull looking footage into like this cool flashy stuff. So I was like, whoa, this is really sick. And then after I figured out that that's really cool, I went on YouTube and I just typed in like cameras, filmmaking, this and that, this and that. And then I started reading up a lot about it and I just fell in love. I really, really fell in love. So yeah, that's what it is. Phantasm says Canadian minimum wage is $11.75 right now. Okay. All right. So I guess it's equal to us about. So the $6,000 makes a little more sense now. Phantasm says I've been tempted to buy gray market. I bought gray market before. I have from overseas. It's still from the same brand. It still shoots in NTSC. So why not? If you're going to save hundreds of dollars by buying stuff overseas, why not? And the warranty should still be good, just not in America. So if you need to do a warranty repair, unfortunately, the only difference is that you have to ship it back overseas, and they have to repair it at that facility overseas. So I don't like this whole gray market thing. Like, they should just make a camera for everybody. Why make a different camera for each country? Like, that's ridiculous. Or each region. It's ridiculous. But yeah, the Sony A9 that I bought is not gray market. It's coming from New Jersey. So hopefully I'll get it this coming week. I will do an unboxing video. I will do a review video on it. It is by far the most expensive camera I've ever bought. I mean, the XF305 was $4,800, but that was not a serious camera for me. I lost a ton of money. I consider the A9 to be the most expensive camera body I've ever bought without the lens. The XF305 had a lens and a camera body already attached, but this is just the camera body. It's a $4,500 camera. And I'm putting Zeiss optics on there, so that's another, couple grand. So it's expensive, guys. And this investment that I made on this new camera, I am going to make an oath to myself to not buy a new camera for the next 4 to 5 years, because I cannot be spending. I'm one of those people that's like, oh, something new came out, I need to buy it. It's just me. I love technology at that point. So I'm going to probably make an oath to myself to not buy a new camera for the next 4 to 5 years. Unless I have an extremely good reason, like my client needs this certain camera for this. But if that's the case, I'll just rent it. I won't even buy it. But don't waste your money on upgrading your camera bodies every year, guys. It's not worth it. You're going to go bankrupt. Spend more money on the accessories like lenses and lights and, all that other stuff. J2 Films is asking, what microphones are you using? So I have a Rode Stereo Video Mic Pro, Zoom H6, Sennheiser G3, Rode Filmmakers Lavalier Kit. So that's my current mic setup that I have right now. So NTG2 from Rode Filmmakers Lavalier Kit, Rode Stereo Video Mic Pro, Sennheiser G3 Lavalier, and the Zoom H6. So actually 5 mics. Those are the 5 mics that I have. Brian is asking, do you know how to fix those small glitch-like lines in Premiere Pro? I'm having trouble in getting rid of those, and I don't know what preset to use. What glitch-like lines are you talking about? I have no idea. Maybe you can send us a picture? Phantasm, I ordered a Sony 28mm f2 today. It cost me $700, but I think it was worth it. Love wide-angle lenses. Dude, an f2 28mm Sony? Good deal. Glass, Guys, if you want to spend money on camera gear, lenses is what you should be spending your money on. Not camera bodies, but lenses. Lenses, what's really interesting about lenses is that, especially some of the vintage lenses now, they can't really go down in price, but they can go up in price. Because if you look at some old Canon vintage lenses or Nikon vintage lenses, they're a lot more expensive than when they first came out. Camera bodies, however, only go down in price. They never go up. So think about that. Lenses can go up. Like, for example, my 28 to 70 Zeiss lens, I bought it for, I think, 780, and now it's worth like 980. So it went up in price. So lenses are a very good investment. You can actually make money by selling those lenses a few years from now. So consider that. Camera bodies will never ever go up in price. They will only go down. Think about it. Because lenses, it's just glass. And manufacturers constantly change how they create their glass. A lot of the times, years go by, they outsource it to other companies. They outsource this, outsource that. They completely redesign it, sometimes for the worse. And the older glass actually outperforms the newer glass. However, because camera bodies, camera companies are becoming so competitive, they're focusing more on upgrading their camera bodies than they are their lenses, because there's more technology involved inside of a camera body than lenses. Lenses is just glass and very few electronics, but in here there's a ton of electronics built in. So that's what they're focusing on right now, and that's why lenses are a lot better investment than camera bodies. Phantasm. Okay, answer that. Brian says he uses CS Creative Suite 5.5. Weatherby Photo says, I get my G1 V2 tomorrow. Oh, that's such a cool gimbal, dude. You're gonna scream. You're gonna scream like a little 5-year-old kid, like on your birthday when you get it. That's what happened to me when I got it. I was so happy when I got my G1 crane. Through your recommendation, I'll be using it with my Fuji X-T2. How many hours do you think it will take to get decent with it? If you watch the tutorial videos that I've created, I think that honestly within 2 to 3 hours you should be pretty good with it. What I want you to focus on, and what you should focus on when you first get the G1 crane, is how to walk and how to hold the gimbal. Those are two really big things to learn. And once you master the walk, once you master how to properly hold it, you will get such great footage. Seriously. So once you master that, you're good, dude. And with all the content on right there, like out on YouTube, like you should master this thing within the day at most, honestly. If you really like put your mind to it, within a day. Chris Daly says, Weatherby, I'd say an hour of playing with it. Yeah, so Chris Daly, I think you're right. Phantasm, the A9 will be damn good, or darn good, sorry, for 5 years, I'm sure. Yeah. Chris Daly, what mic do you use for your voiceovers? I use the Zoom H6. Brian, yeah, sure. Where do I send them? Wait, what? Oh, where do you send the pictures? Send them to my email, info@capturethemomentum.com. Let me see what you're talking about. So does anybody know what the Sony A9 is? I think a few people know some of the specs on the Sony A9, but this is like a revolution to Sony, and I think overall to the camera market. They're nicknaming the Sony A9 as the DSLR killer, which means that this camera is supposed to take out Nikon, and it's supposed to take out Canon, because they're currently using Canon. What am I saying? They're currently using DSLRs. They're selling those. So Canon's using the 5D Mark IV, 1DXs. Nikon's using their D5s. All their other cameras. I'm not a big Nikon fan, so I don't follow up too much with them. But yeah. So think about that. The A9 is supposed to blow them out of the water. So what is so special about the Sony A9, and why do I think it was worth the $4,500 price tag? Um, for one thing, one of the biggest features I really like about this camera um, is its low light capability and its autofocus. So its low light is supposed to be almost triple the A7R II. I looked at the footage, and the base ISO rate is a lot higher than this camera. So it's supposed to be, I think, around triple the low light sensitivity of the A7R II. Autofocus points, I think it's about double the A7R II, maybe a little bit less than double, but the autofocus points are not the only thing. The new autofocus processor, the engine that they put in, it's a lot quicker than the A7R II. And also the A9 has redundancy. So you can insert two SD card slots at once, record media to both cards simultaneously, so that way if one card fails on you, you got a backup. And that's something that pro video cameras do. Like the Canon XF305 had a dual CF card slot, so if one card failed on me, the second card would have all the other footage that I needed. That's something that I think every camera nowadays needs to have. So I hope that Canon's Mark V, 5D Mark V has that feature. Currently, they're still using the old single slot. Every camera needs to have a dual slot. There's nothing worse than coming home from a shoot, popping in your SD card, and then your camera saying, oh, SD card needs to be formatted. Content is unreadable. That is the worst warning sign you can get on your SD card. Your heart will sink. Brian, here's my email. Info at capturethemomentum.com. Phantasm stabilization is insanely good too. Yes, so that's another good point. Thank you for bringing that up. So stabilization, they're saying that the movement, so the in-body stabilization inside the A7R II is a great feature. In the A9, they actually increased the movement, how far the sensor can go up, down, left, and right for stabilization. So they actually made it more shock absorbent than the A7R II. Or vibration absorbent. And the dynamic range is another big, especially for photos. I was watching a video from Jared Polin. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's one of the top photographers on YouTube right now. He did a great video on the Sony A9 where he took a picture of a guy in this baseball arena, and he took this blown out, like he shot a guy inside of a booth, and then there was a window with a lot of light coming in, bright light. And it was all white. It was all clipped. Like there were, in my mind, there was no way you could restore what's outside that window. He put it into Photoshop. Within 5 minutes, he restored every single detail that was outside that window. The blue sky, the white, beautiful, puffy clouds. He restored all of that detail from clipped photos. I'm like, how the hell did he do that? The dynamic range allows you to do that from that camera. That's phenomenal. That's like, it's crazy. So I would love to have that ability since I want to start doing some photography work. So I want to have the best camera, the best hybrid camera on the market. And I think that that's going to be the Sony A9. It's the best hybrid. The A7S Mark II is not a hybrid. It's more for video because the stills are only 12 megapixel. It's nowhere near as good. The A9 is double that megapixel rate, and it has phenomenal low light from what I've seen online. So, you know, it's really cool to have a hybrid camera that has so many of those fantastic features. JTube Films, what camera store are you most of the time buying from? So I buy from a lot of different people. I just focus on the price and their reputation. So sometimes I buy from this company called einfin.com. They're overseas. They sell gray market products, but it's a lot cheaper and they're very fast with their shipping and excellent customer support. einfin.com. Literally, they have one of the best prices for cameras. But sometimes Amazon and eBay have slightly better prices. Like for the A9, it was only $80 more on the US site on eBay. So I just went with it because it's a new camera, just came out brand new like technology. So my guess is that something is more likely to go wrong with this sort of camera than an older A7R II or A7S. So that's why I went with that, because I want the US warranty. I want to be able to ship it out within the US and get it fixed immediately. So that's why I just spent $80 more. On the eInfant site, the A9 is $4,200. I paid $4,279.99 on a company called Deals Are All Year on eBay. They have really great deals. I bought my GH4 from another company on eBay located within the United States from New York. I think it was called 41st Photo or something like that. Or, oh no, 6th Avenue. 6th Avenue Photo, something like that. And I bought from them. I bought from B&H Photo. I bought my King TV Argo from B&H Photo. I bought some DJI Inspire 1 batteries from B&H Photo. So I shop around. I just try and get the best deals as I can. And yeah, the worst place you can buy equipment, though, I know they're not going to like me saying this, but it's Alibaba. AliExpress. Have you guys heard of AliExpress? Don't buy from them. The LCD screen that I ordered from them to replace on my Sony A7R II, I hooked up all the cables properly the first time, and the LCD screen never powered on. And now this guy that sold me the screen is calling me a fraud. Like from after 2 messages, I'm messaging him and he's calling me a fraud. And then AliExpress says that buyer protection, I should get a full refund. So this guy is calling me a fraud, saying that he can't refund my money, while AliExpress is saying that no, he will refund your money. So all I got to do is wait 4 days. They should refund my money, but I've never experienced an ignorant seller calling me a fraud because of their defective LCD product. So don't buy from AliExpress. I've never dealt with something like that on eBay or Amazon. I've only had beautiful results with dealing with eBay and Amazon. Don't buy from AliExpress. I don't recommend it. I was really disappointed with my experience buying from them. So if you can avoid it, avoid it. Chris Daly sent over a link. Let's have a look. Let's see what he recommends here. Why isn't this? I'm trying to highlight the link, but it's being weird. Okay, I think I got it. Internet. Why are you so slow? Sorry, man. Sorry, Chris. It's still loading. Give me a sec, please. Vodka Professional Rocket Air Blower. Yeah, dude, definitely. I don't have that same exact one. I have one that's called Rocket Fish, but they're all the same. It's all the same. But definitely get one of these, because that's the best way you can clean out a lens or a sensor in your camera. It's a must. Every photographer or videographer needs to have one of those. Big time. And it's not only useful for like camera stuff, it's for anything that's sensitive to like compressed air. You just use that and you just press the bubble and boom, clean air, you know? No harsh chemicals. And I use it to prank my friends a lot too, or annoy them. I take it and I just spray some air in their ear, and it really irritates them. So it's a good thing to like take around with you and mess around with your friends, you know? And I don't know. I'm kind of cruel, I guess, but it's funny. But yeah, definitely recommend it. Definitely, it's a must. I just broke my hair tie. But yeah, consider it. And I mean, yeah, for $9, I think so. I have a Fotga lens adapter. So, and it worked. It works okay. So I know Vodka is a good company. Any more questions, guys? We are over an hour and 4 minutes now. This is fantastic. Very successful live stream, you guys. I'm very happy that we're doing this right now. My mood is definitely a lot better. You know, after breaking my A7R II, then spending another 4 Gs on a new camera, and then going to a funeral today, it was just like, ugh. It's just not the best weekend. But now that I'm talking to you guys, it's like uplifting. It's like therapy for me. But yeah, any more questions? I think my chat froze again. But let's see here. No, it didn't freeze, so we're good. Any more questions, guys? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. I think I answered every single question on the chat today. Every single one. There were a lot of questions too. Any more, guys? Any more questions before we call it a night? No? That's it? Really? You guys just like looking at my face then, I guess, right? Dude. Guys, breaking a camera. When I broke my XF305 TV camera, the camera that I paid almost 5 Gs for, which for me at the time was like the last of my money I had in my bank account. When I paid that much money for that camera and I came home and I broke it that same night, literally my heart dropped to my feet. I got so upset. You have no idea how upset I got. So instead of being stupid, guys, don't fix these things yourself unless you're like a pro electrician and you know exactly what you're doing. If you're like a curious George like me and you don't really have any field experience of fixing this kind of stuff, don't do it. Take it to a professional, please. Save yourself the time, save yourself the money, save yourself the stress. It's not worth it. I promise you. Okay? Let a professional take care of it. Let a professional deal with this stuff, because it's not right doing it and then just screwing it up. I have a reputation for doing that, and it's not fun, guys. Definitely not fun. CAK. Whoa, dude, I haven't seen you in the live stream for a while. A9, aren't you a videographer? I am a videographer, but I want to have a hybrid camera that's both great in photography and videography. So yes, that's why I went with the A9. But before that A9, the A7R II was that hybrid camera for me, but instead of buying the same camera again, I'd rather get something newer and better. So I just went for the A9. I want to have that flexibility where I can just go from shooting beautiful photos to, boom, right away shooting beautiful videos. So I just went for the A9. And even for videography, the A9 has autofocus like no other camera has. So autofocus is a huge deal for a lot of people, including myself. So I need a camera that's phenomenal on autofocus. And even though the A7R II has great autofocus on it, it still struggles. Like I shot a short film 2 weeks ago with the A7R II, and it struggled a lot with focus. So this A9 should not have that struggle. So yeah. How did you break the XF305? So I shorted it out. So I bought the camera used, and what happened was I took the LCD apart because it was scratched up and I wanted to replace it, kind of similar to what happened to my Sony. and I shorted out the connections. So it shorted out the fuses on the XF305, and I needed it to be shipped to Canon so they would fix it. And they fixed it under warranty for me, so I was really happy. CAK is actually, he knows a lot about, because I've seen him around, and he knows quite a fair bit about cameras and what's out there. I actually saw I saw a few of your comments on Marina Bruno's videos, and they were pretty funny. So, for those of you who don't know, I don't know if you guys know who Marina Bruno is. Let me know if you do. Brian is asking, "Hey Josh, I've already sent the email. Have you received it?" Let's see. I only received one email, and that was from Israel. I need to email him back after the live stream, but no, I haven't received your email, Brian. Phantasm, what are your main used lenses? So my main used lenses would be the Zeiss 28 to 70, and the 16 to 35. Those are the two main lenses I'm using lately. Those are great wide and mid-range lenses, and I use my Nifty 50 sometimes, and my Rokinon 14mm. But the top two lenses that I use would be the 24 to 70 and the 16 to 35 Zeiss. Yeah, I love prime lenses, but as a cinematographer who can only capture things within a certain amount of time, like an hour, like for the Rob Riches videos, I can't keep changing lenses. So I have to have a zoom lens, so I can quickly change focal length and just work off of that. There's no way I can work off of a prime lens. CAK saying, "Oh, really? Who's Marina Bruno? Laugh out loud." Oh, her, yeah. CAK saying, "You the best, man. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah, I should be, hopefully I'll get the A9 later this week. I messaged the seller. I was hoping that he could maybe expedite the shipping because I really want that camera in my hands already. I lost my A7R II, and I'm like, I need to ship it out tomorrow to the new owner. And she was a good camera, dude. Like, honestly, I love my A7R II like so much. This was such an unbelievable camera. So many great moments. This was honestly my favorite camera that I've ever owned, except for the 5D. The 5D, I think, is still my favorite camera, but this camera was like my favorite mirrorless camera. Better than the GH4, better than the A7S. This was my favorite camera. And now it's gone. You'll always be in my heart, sort of. Yeah. But I think I'll love the A9 more. So, but you served me well for those almost 2 years that I've had you. You served me extraordinarily well. I wish I could afford the G Master lenses. I need low light and prefer zooms, but primes will have to do. Honestly, the G Master lenses, like, that's what I was debating on buying between the 16 to 35. So there's two lenses out there for Sony's. There's a 16 to 35 4.0, and then there's a 16 to 35 G Master 2.8. The 4.0 is actually sharper than the G Master. So when it comes down to low light, with these new cameras that are coming out from Sony, the 2.8 and a 4.0 shouldn't really matter that much to you in terms of low light, because those cameras can compensate for that light loss. They really can. But another big difference between 2.8 and 4.0 is the bokeh. So that blurry background, that shallow depth of field, it's going to be quite different on the 2.8 than the 4.0. So if you like that artistic feel with that enormous price tag, overpriced price tag, then the 2.8 would be a better match for you. But with the 4.0s, I'm still getting really nice shallow depth of field, surprisingly. Even with the 16 to 35, I get a pretty shallow depth of field with that lens. So I'm happy with the 4.0s, to be honest, and I think I'm going to stick to those 4.0s. Aglo Creative, could I ask a question regarding frame rates when filming? Of course you can. JTube Films, that's why I use bridge cameras. Don't need to worry about switching or buying lenses. Saves so much time. Exactly. CAK, ask away. That's what the stream is for. Phantasm, I have the A7R II and I'm amazed at how well it does in low light. Yeah, seriously, the A7R II, guys, it's a phenomenal camera. And if the LCD wouldn't have, if I wouldn't have broken my A7R II, I would have had this camera for another 3 years at least. I just didn't want to pay another 500 bucks right now to repair it. I was too lazy to save money, if that makes sense. I'd rather spend money and get the best than ship it out and just deal with all this other stuff. But yeah. Yeah, what else we got here? Aglo, you just got the A6500. Congrats. Yeah, that's another great camera. Do you think the Canon M3 is worth getting? 5D Mark III, is that what you're asking? Aglo Creative, if you want to have some slow motion footage in 24 frames per second timeline, do you always need to plan this in advance? Film in a higher frame rate in advance and slow down in post. So I recommend you do. But if you're not sure, shoot at a higher frame rate just to be safe. And if you don't need that slow motion, you can always export at 24 frames per second. It's better always to shoot at a higher frame rate and export it at a lower frame rate than flipping it and shooting at a low frame rate and exporting at a higher frame rate. Because that's when you're going to start seeing some skipping in your frames, and that's no good. So if you're not sure, shoot at a higher frame rate. You know, it's not going to be a big deal. Seriously, it's not. Yeah. Phantasm, I agree. It does it well, especially comparing to old cameras. Night and day, no pun intended. CAK saying, I think the M3 is the mirrorless Canon M3. I haven't looked at that camera. Okay, let's see. Canon M3. Wow, I didn't even know this camera existed. So you probably want to compare this camera to like an RX100, right? I've been following Sony like religiously, so I know almost every camera that I know every camera that they have. I kind of let go of Canon a little bit, but I'm still a fan of Canon, even though I don't use them anymore. I use a few of their lenses still, though. So it's a mirrorless system, 24 megs, 25.6 ISO. So it's an old camera. It was released in 2015. See what I'm saying? I should smack myself for saying that. An old camera was released 2 years ago. No, don't take that. Don't take what I said to heart. It's not old. It's not old at all. But if you want to compare it to the RX100 by looking at these specs, obviously the new RX100 Mark V is a lot better than this camera. But if you're comparing it to, like, let's say an RX100 Mark III, it's very difficult. I mean, I don't have field experience with this camera. And field experience is completely different than what they tell you on paper. So I would honestly go to Best Buy, go to Fry's, see if they have a display model and just play around with it. And honestly, a lot of it comes down to preference, not just what experts say, but it also comes down to preference. What do you feel is better for you? Don't just rely on experts for the best camera for you. The only person who knows that and who really will feel what the best camera is for them is you and only you. Experts know the facts. You know the creative side of things, all right? You know what's in here. They don't. So if you think that this camera performs better, feels better, and smells better, then get it. Seriously. That's my opinion. But if you're completely clueless about cameras and you have no idea what to do, then yes, an expert would definitely help you out. Phantasm says, I've head to bed. Have a good night. Josh, take care. Phantasm, I salute you, my friend. Take care. M3's interchangeable lens? What? Really? No way it is. Oh. Oh. Yeah, then you should get the M3. I did not know it was an interchangeable lens. How come I haven't heard of it though? That's the thing. I think that if it was such a good seller, I would have heard of it. But no. Wow. But how many lenses do they make for this camera? That's another question. And does it come with the lens? It looks like it does. 18 to 55. And what's the crop? What's the sensor on it? Let's see what the sensor. I think it's a APS-C sensor. Crop sensor, yeah, APS-C. So an 18 will be about what, a 27 millimeter, 27, 28 millimeter. Yeah, interesting. Wow, CAK, you sold your 5D4 for C102 and love it. Wow. Really? Man, that would have been so difficult for me to do because I love the 5Ds. They're like, oh man, so why'd you sell the 5D? Man, that is crazy change there. So you went from a hybrid to a completely like full video camera then. Wow. Oh, and you have built-in ND filters. It's another good feature. Built-in ND filter. How many ND filters does it come with? Yeah, focus peaking. That's important. Oh, focus peaking is really, really big deal. But how many? You probably have 3 built-in ND filters, right? 3. I think that's like the standard for. I remember my Canon XF305 had 4. I think it had ND14, ND18, ND1. No, 3. 3. Yeah, focus peaking is great. 5D4 didn't have focus peaking? All the Sonys do. That's so weird. All my Sonys have focus peaking. Even the older A7S has focus peaking. That's so weird. Algo Creative, thanks for your answer for the FPS. So I can film at 120 FPS and output to 24 FPS timeline without automatically getting slow motion. Yes, you can definitely do that, but 120 frames per second is pretty high. Maybe try doing 60 frames per second. Unless you really want that 25% slow motion, which is rare. Not a lot of people use that. They usually use half, not 25%. But honestly, if you think you're going to use that ultra slow motion, use the 120. But yeah, you will not automatically get slow motion. You actually have to edit that in your timeline. So don't worry about that. Wow, I can't believe the 5D4 doesn't have focus peaking. That's so bizarre. That is really bizarre. Even my GH4 has focus peaking. Michael Maestro Pierce says, congrats on the A9. I love it. Dude, Michael, talk to me about the A9, dude. I mean, I'm supposed to get it later this week, and I'm a little bit nervous. I want to make sure that I made the right decision here. So, yeah, so CAK is right. Unless you're 100% sure, 120 is a little too high. But if you know that you're going to use that 25% slow motion, then yes. Um, then yes. But yeah, I think the 120 is a little too high as a standard frame rate. Go down to 60. Michael, I have the A7R II as well. Yeah, dude. So what do you like more? Give me your honest opinion between the A7R II and the A9. What do you like more? I'm trying to learn as much as I can. I want to prepare myself. I've read every single article on the A9 already within 24 hours. I've read every single article. I've watched every single important video on YouTube on the A9. So now I want like real people telling me, real owners telling me like what they think about the A9. So that camera is making me nervous because it's so expensive. Yeah. This is what happened to my A7R II. LCD is gone. And I already sold it, so it's shipping off to Illinois tomorrow. It's still in really good condition. Like no scratches, no bumps. Looks like it's new still. Maybe like a little nick right here from a tripod, but that's about it. Algo Creative, thank you for answering. All right, bro, no worries. Yeah, don't forget that when you shoot it at a higher frame rate, especially for some of these cameras, you're definitely going to get more aliasing in your footage. That's another thing you need to keep in mind. Aliasing is not a good thing. So remember that. Keep it around 60 unless you know for a fact you want that really slow motion footage. Brian Perinas, have you used a Red camera? What is the experience like? Yes, I've used a Red camera. Back in like 2013, I used a Red Scarlet, which it was okay. I mean, the setup time is long. It's a very loud camera. It has a very loud heat sink and a fan. No autofocus, obviously, because it's a cinema camera. And the ergonomics on that thing are completely awful. I hate the touchscreen. So there's an external monitor that you're supposed to buy with the Red. It's a 5-inch Pro high-res screen. And it's very clunky. Like the menu buttons are, it's all touchscreen. I'm not used to touchscreen. I like buttons. And it's all just, it's not user-friendly at all. It's really not. So I don't like Red for that reason. I'm sticking with Sony. But yeah, the experience with Red, I mean, the picture came out phenomenal. I mean, they're nailing it with their sensor technology. So, it comes down to that. Michael Maestro Pierce, the A9 is boss all the way around, but the DR, the dynamic range on the A7R II is better. The A9 has great DR, but the A7R II is better. But let me be clear, you're going to be happy. I'm selling my A7R II for another A9. Damn. You're gonna buy another A9? Dude. All right. Okay. All right. Are we talking about dynamic range in video or photo? Let me know. Let me know which dynamic range you're talking about. Furus, when are you going to begin with the vlog videos? Okay, so yesterday I shot my first part of the vlog video. So I decided what I'm going to start off with. I'm going to do weekly vlogs. So I'm going to do a compilation of different days, collect the footage. Because some days I'm literally not doing interesting things enough for you guys. So sometimes I'm just editing all day. Like what's interesting about editing all day? I'd rather just make a live stream of me editing and showing you guys that. So I'm just gonna take a collection of compilation of videos during the week, compress them into one vlog, and release it every like Sunday or something like that. I think that's a smart thing to do. CAK is saying Sony killing it lately. Oh, yes, they are. Sony's killing it, but I think Canon's gonna come up with something. Nikon is coming up with the first curved sensor. So that's going to be interesting. What are your thoughts on the MKBHD using a red on every YouTube video and uploading an 8K video? Who's MKBHD? Who dat? First of all, so 4K video, 6K video, 8K video, way before its time. Those resolutions are extremely high, and they're great for like IMAX, but they're also great for cropping in. It's also great for cropping in. You also have to think about it, like if you're getting hired to film weddings and events, and people are asking you to, you know, shoot the stuff for them and all that, but you have to think about some statistics here. How many people do you think own HD monitors, HD screens? Just 720. I'm talking about 720p, guys, not even 1080. How many people do you think have that kind of monitor or TV? I have friends that still have those square TVs with the tube amplifiers. So think about it. 4K is way before its time. It's a great tool to use if you want to crop in. It can save your footage in so many different ways, but do I think you should upload in 4K, 6K, or 8K? No way. Do you know the amount of bandwidth it takes to stream 4K, 8K, 6K footage? Even 1080p footage takes a lot of bandwidth. A lot of people don't have that kind of bandwidth. So it's actually better if you shoot at 1080p than 4K, because that way more people will be able to view your footage than seeing it in 4K, because that way it will stream cleaner and less, you know, interruptions because of their buffer. So think about it. He's a tech reviewer. Yeah, I haven't heard of him for some reason. Let me check him out. Michael is saying that the dynamic range in stills is better, but for video, the A9 kicks the A7RII butt. Really had the color science, and the A9 is different, much more like Canon colors. Now, the only thing I'm missing on the A9 right now is the picture profiles, because I want to match my Sony A7S. That's definitely what I match with. The only reason why I'm keeping the A7S is for those really, really dark situations. But I feel like when the A7S Mark III comes out, which should be any month now, rumor has it should be announced in September. But as soon as they announce it, I think I'm going to sell the A7S for like $1,000 and then buy the new one. But I probably won't do that until January. Yeah. I just want to make sure I'm happy with the A9. But yeah, so I'm happy about the A9. I'm really, and I wanted it to be like a hybrid camera, but now that Michael's telling me that he loves it in video, that makes me happy because I'm going to be using it a lot for video as well. The picture profiles, Sony said that it's only a firmware update away. So if enough people complain about it and show interest about having picture profiles on their camera, Sony will be more than happy to put it in their firmware upgrade. But why didn't you just already have it in the camera? That's my question. Why didn't you just put it in there? I mean, it's a $4,500 camera. You want it to have the best features possible, right? Another thing I wish they put in was 4K at 60 frames per second. I don't know why they didn't do that either. The processor could have easily handled it. I know for a fact. CAK sent me the YouTube username Marks Brownlee. I might have heard of him actually. Let me see who this is. The link doesn't work, man. It says the page isn't available. Sorry about that. Can you send me another link, maybe? The Angry Filmmaker. What's up, dude? Hi, great, Josh. I learned a lot from you. I have a full rig, but my camera is a 5D Mark II. Oh, love that camera. And I will make my second feature with it since I can't afford a better camera. Do you think I'm very out of date? No, dude. Seriously, I regret selling my 5D Mark II. I really do. I don't think you're out of date. Um, they use the 5D Mark II on so many different movies. It was that camera is a revolution. If it wasn't for the 5D Mark II, cameras would not be where they are today. I'm telling you right now. We would still, if it wasn't for the 5D, we would still be shooting on huge cameras. Like Canon changed the game for video, in my opinion. So I don't think you're very out of date. It's all up to your lenses now. It's all up to your lenses now. CAK saying A9S and A9R probably in the works. Yeah, definitely. I think there will be, but don't expect a price tag lower than 5K. They're gonna be $5,000 cameras at least, probably 5,500. Especially for the A9R. Remember what R stands for? It stands for resolution. So it's probably going to be the same resolution as the A7R2 with the same CMOS autofocus points and all that. So it's probably going to be at least another $1,000 more. So it's probably going to be 5,500 bucks. CAK says chat doesn't send us links. Email them to me, man. I'll check it out. Michael says, you'll be happy, bro. Trust me. I have the FS7, A7R2. Ooh, FS7 is another beautiful camera. Ooh, beautiful camera. He has the FS7, A7R2, a ton of Sony glass, and truthfully, I'm thinking about selling the FS7 as well because the A9 is a boss. Wow. Philip Bloom would not be happy if you sold your FS7, man. Don't tell him about that. Philip Bloom loves his FS7, and I'm jealous over that camera too. I absolutely love the FS7. I love it. The only reason why I didn't buy it is because I want it to fit in like my backpack and stuff like that, and use it on my gimbals. But I don't have gimbals big enough for that. I have the Kane TV Argo, which is like a DJI Ronin M, and I have a Jewin Crane. So I want to keep my form factors pretty small. I don't want to travel around with a big FS7 with me. The Angry Filmmaker says, "Thank you very much for all that you do for us." Thank you, bro. I really appreciate it. So Philip Bloom, guys, check him out. This guy, Philip Bloom, is like one of the rarest people I trust when it comes down to nailing a film-like look. He knows film, dude. And I say this every single time I bring up his name, is that this dude knows film. He knows cinema. He can make any footage look like it was made in like the 60s, the 50s. He has that like, I don't know what he does with his LUTs that he's using or the color profiles he's using, but he's able to capture these images in this certain color that just, it's so, it's really film-like, and I really love it. I love Philip Bloom's videos simply just because of the color. A lot of the time it's also because of the content, but like I want to enjoy the video that I'm looking at and the way that I experience it. And the first thing I pay attention to is the color, the feel, the ambience, and he knows exactly how to pull that off. Yeah, Philip Bloom was boss, dude. But don't tell him about your FS7. He's not going to be happy. I thought he was going to do a review on the Sony A9, but he never did. I swear I thought he did a review on the A9. And I thought he was going to compare it to the A7R2, but he never did. So that's kind of unfortunate. I don't know if he bought it or if he even used it, but it would be great if he came out with a video with the A9. Because I definitely want to see. I would definitely want to see what he would do with the A9 video capabilities. Michael, do you have any footage of your A9? I would love to check it out. You bought the Fujinon 15-135. Hell yeah. Which camera are you using that on? Are you using that on your Sonys? $55-135, yeah. All right, guys. Well, an hour and 40 minutes. This is one of the longest streams I've ever done. So, Michael, if you have some content that you shot with your A9, please send it my way. I would love to check it out. I still want to keep researching it until it's delivered to my house. I'm just that type of crazy guy. But yeah, let me know if you have any content that I could look at, and I'd love to check it out. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm tuning out. Gonna hit the bed now. Gotta wake up at I think I'm waking up at 6:30 tomorrow morning to shoot some videos for YouTube and prepare to see some new content on my channel this week, guys. All right, Michael, I'm going to check out your YouTube channel as soon as we log off. All right, man? So take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Good night. Have fun filming, and I will talk to you very soon. Thanks for tuning in.